What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And the latest chapter of One Piece just released, and this chapter actually gave us some more of the Katakuri versus Luffy fight, which was actually surprising, showing us a bit more of what's going down over there, as well as getting to see Stussy again, and then of course the Big Mom chase sequence as well. But let's start with the Stussy stuff, seeing as that was where the chapter started. She informed Montdor and Tamago about the Tamate Barco box, about that being the cause for the massive explosion, and seeing as it was the Straw Hats that gave Big Mom this box, it seems like they intentionally did this to sabotage Big Mom, and I find it really interesting that she brought this up now, especially seeing as you have Big News Morgans sitting right next to them. The one guy that is capable of publicizing this to the world now thinks that the Straw Hats intentionally bombed and sabotaged all of this. So it seems like whatever story he's going to release is going to give the Straw Hats so much clout, unless Stussy has other plans, of course. But I do look forward to seeing how this affects the world afterwards. But yeah, moving on, we head towards the mirror world. We get to see some more of the Luffy versus Katakuri fight, as well as being introduced to the 33rd daughter, who was kind of irrelevant. Well, I say irrelevant, but what I really mean is that I wasn't interested in her character at all. But I think what stood out to people most about her is her age. She is the 33rd daughter, and she's only 15. So if we then think that Pudding is the 35th daughter, that would mean that Pudding is younger than 15, which is kind of weird. No, it's extremely weird, considering that she was just about to get married to Sanji. She's got Sanji constantly lusting over her and shit. Like, yeah, the more I talk about this, the weirder it gets. There is also the possibility that this is just an incorrect translation and she is either not the 33rd daughter or she is just not that young. So this could just be incorrect, or there's the possibility that Pudding isn't actually a legitimate member of the family and she's adopted or some shit. But as things stand right now, she's too young, like way too young. But yeah, during the Luffy versus Katakuri fight, the majority of it seemed to be Luffy getting thrown around a lot. Like, the fight only just started back up again and his face is already swollen and bruised, but at the same time, he hasn't gone gear 4th yet. Instead, what seems to be happening is Luffy is focusing on the words taught to him by Rayleigh, which we got more of this chapter by the way, in order to gain some sort of advantage over Katakuri by seeing into the future. The words that Rayleigh said this chapter were, "Attacks have willpower behind them, an aura to them. Don't just flail about wildly." I guess what he's trying to tell Luffy to do is read the aura and intentions of his enemies instead of just randomly predicting, but whatever it is, it seemed to work, because Luffy was actually able to see the future, even if it was briefly. Like, he's not able to do this consistently, he's only able to predict a few attacks here and there, and it's kind of cool to see us getting some sort of progression with Luffy Haki wise. But I do kind of wish Oda went about this a different way, or at least I wish he visualized it in a different way, because the way it was done in this chapter, without Katakuri's commentary, we would never have known what it was that Luffy just did. We would never have known that Luffy just saw the future and improved his Haki. He just closed his eyes, the panel went black, and then all of a sudden they're clashing. It's kind of an anticlimactic way to introduce something so big, in my opinion. I wish he did something more similar to what he did in Marineford, where Luffy saw his hand actually get cut off by Mihawk before it happened, and maybe draw it in a way where it's hazy or distorted, so that we know that he's just seen something in the future and that whatever panels follow after that is everything actually playing out in the real world. But yeah, that's my only problem with that. I wish it was visualized in a better way, but I do actually look forward to seeing how Luffy is able to use this ability in Gear 4th and how effective it actually is. But yeah, moving on to the final section of the chapter, nothing really out of the ordinary happening here, but it does seem like they're finally about to meet up with Sanji, and I hope that this is the final chapter of this chase sequence, because it was starting to get kind of repetitive. Sanji finished baking the cake this chapter, Nami saw his ship in the distance, and Big Mom is actually able to smell the cake from this far away, so things should be getting pretty interesting soon. Oh yeah, and we also saw a supersized Prometheus this chapter, which is kind of cool to see, but I doubt it's going to do anything useful, so yeah. Overall, I think this was a decent chapter. It seems like we're finally going to be moving on from Big Mom chasing the Sunny, and the cake is finally going to come into play, provided nothing interrupts it, of course. And I'm also excited to see where the fight between Luffy and Katakuri goes from here as well, so overall I'm going to rate this a 7 out of 10. But let me know what you guys think of the chapter in the comment section down below. Like the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already for more of that One Piece content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
1.